Okay, Robert Newman back talking about real estate lead generations ranked categorically. This category is going to be the lowest cost of lead acquisition. In other words, what system can generate you a lead for the least amount of money? Before I get into that, let me be real clear here. Just because somebody can get you a lead for $1 does not necessarily mean that you want a dollar lead. Or a better way to put this is that when you're going to generate, like if you have $100 to spend and you could get a $100 lead, then $100 buys you 100 leads, right? Seems everybody watching this video would probably be excited by that, assuming there was business to be found in that 100 and assuming that you had the will to go through the 100 to find the business. It's a lot of work getting in touch with people in today's age. Most people screen their calls. If there's a very low quality lead who barely understood where they registered at, they're not going to recognize a phone number when it calls them. They're not going to pick up the phone. Lead generation systems rely more and more heavily on automated emails, automated text messages, automated voicemails in order to inspire people to call them back or text them back or whatever it's going to be. The number one results generating effort is still, oddly enough, calling on a phone. But if I give you 100 names and numbers to call, a dedicated ISA would probably take 2 or 3 days to get through all those numbers, because you can call them all repeatedly until you get somebody on the phone. A lot of times somebody picks up the phone just to get you to stop calling them. You can also, if you're an ISA, be leaving messages that say, hey, you registered, and if you're very clever about the messages that you're leaving, perhaps that person calls you back or texts you back or does something that inspires a response. But still, the best way to get a response is calling. But once again, if I'm giving you 200 or 300 things to call, that's a big job. And I know of very few real estate agents, salespeople, whatever you want to call people in the profession, that have the will to effectively be an ISA. So these low quality systems, almost the good ones, come with lots of tools that try to make quality out of what is not quality when it starts. The lowest cost of acquisition, Ylopo, okay, that I have been able to verify across all of their database, they are easily pulling in $2 to $3 leads off Facebook. They have systems in place that answer some of the things that I just covered. Okay, they've got fancy automated texting systems. They have ways of placing ads that get slightly higher quality registrations. They have lots of content drop or support tools that try to build a little bit more value into the lead because they know that Facebook is lower quality leads. They've recently launched Google AdWords leads as well as part of their service, and those are $3 to $6 is the last numbers I saw in terms of acquisition. What it comes down to is that their leadership team is better than most other teams at figuring out how to get people to register with stuff and thus generate you a lead. My experience with Ylopo leads is, boy oh boy, is there a lot of work to create value. Now there's a ton of value there. Please don't misread me. When we get to the ROI section, this company is going to be prominently fixated in it. But is there lots of other work that you have to do to make sure that you're getting the highest possible results? The answer is yes. And transparently, you have to do lots of other work with my service to get the highest possible results as well. Those are just things that you need to be aware of as a person looking at these systems. Yeah, you can get a real cheap lead. Does that mean necessarily that you're going to be getting the best possible ROI or anything else? No, not even close. Next on the list is bold leads. They come in slightly behind Ylopo and not by much. They don't have the tools in place that Ylopo does to generate some of the quality out of those leads, so there's a lot of people that are not necessarily as excited by bold leads. However, they're cheaper on the system side by far, and that's one thing worth mentioning with Ylopo, is they're charging a lot more layers and for a lot more tools. For all the tools that I'm mentioning, the things that generate you leads, there are additional layers of cost. You walk in and the system looks like $535 a month, and that's great. And by the time you end up adding everything into what you need to really get top results, it's more like $1,100 to $1,500 average to use Ylopo. Bold leads, There are additions. There's like a text concierge service, but it's on the $50 to $150 side, and you end up at about an average cost, maybe $750, $850 with their add-ins. Once again, these are lower quality leads, but they're put into an all-in-one, really well-done CRM. If you're a starting out agent with a smaller budget and you're not scared of hard work, I still think that Bold Leads is probably one of the very best options that's available. Because if you've got enthusiasm but not revenue, what you want is just 100 names, and then you should read a couple sales books, make sure that you know how to get value out of every call, because somebody might say, I'm not buying a home for another 2 years. That stupid thing suckered me into registering, and a lot of people would hang up. The thing is that if you take 5 or 10 minutes to establish a relationship with that person on the phone, you can get some referrals out of it. They have agreed to talk to you, and honestly, as a salesperson, that is really, if you're in the start of your career, that's about as much as you can hope for, is that somebody's just agreeing to talk to you. Spend a few minutes. As you get deeper into your career, of course, you want to focus those conversations and value your time. But if you're at the start of something and you've got nothing except time, that's all you've got, you need to talk to everybody that you can, is my opinion. But I'm a 35-year sales vet. I've started 7 companies the hard way, which just means basically taking on customers one at a time. And I still do this company the hard way by giving away lots of my time for free and finding the rare individuals that are a perfect fit for my particular service category. And making sure that the time that I'm giving is so valuable that everybody wants it. So it's, if you're going to be really super successful, anybody in the sales business will tell you, you got to get nose to nose with a lot of prospective people and have good conversations with them. The best that you're able to do, the best that you're capable of. Number 3 on the list is Real Geeks. Now, Real Geeks has focused on PPC more historically because they've been around for a while. But they've added a feature into their system where you can automatically create listing ads on Facebook. It's like a $50 add-on. Now, it's not as sophisticated as either one of these other companies. However, it is automated, does get results, and will get you lots of results. I don't really know exactly what the cost is, but I know it's very low. And if you add into the fact that they're the cheapest by far, because yours is 200 plus 50 is $250, and you've got yourself included in your system an ad generator for Facebook. It's not a miracle maker, but if you want low-cost leads, it will do the trick. So now you've got a $50 cost, and it automatically does your ads. So you're really just looking at the advertising dollars that go into the platform. All these services, Ylopo, Bold Leads, they're charging you $300, $400 a month cushioned in there to make these more sophisticated tools. The only reason that Real Geeks is not number 1 is just that part of what they've done is Ji Fung, the founder of Ylopo, is quite literally a marketing genius. He just is. Anybody that knows him will say the same thing. You watch some of his videos, you'll walk away thinking the same thing. I'm pretty talented myself, and I'm telling you that. Like, this guy knows his shit. Forgive the curse word. So, it's not so much that Real Geeks might deliver like close to the same acquisition, $3 or $4 lead probably, if I had to guess, maybe even less. I don't know, but I would put their lead acquisition cost at one of the lowest that you can find, and certainly one of the simplest to engage. You still have to learn the system, and you have to build the site, which is its own pain in the ass. Please refer to my review. But once all that is done, you got a mechanism that will drive traffic straight into the site and generate leads. So all you got to do is turn on a budget. You got this little tool that's going to do ads for you, and bang, you're off to the races. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, do me a favor, please. There's only 3 names in this category. I did 3 for the highest, 3 for the lowest. And there aren't many honorable mentions because a lot of us in the lead generation business aren't really focused on low quality, high quantity. So we're not attempting to even get in this bucket. I would be attempting to get more in the high quality, high cost bucket personally, as a lead provider. I'm just not as expensive. Like, I just didn't make it onto that list. But, if I could give somebody 4 leads and they could close 1, but I was charging $200 a lead, or if that's what the cost came out to be, I'm comfortable with that. Like, that's great math. Like, that's the best kind of math, because I'm trying to appeal to real estate professionals that are basically my equivalent, which is very experienced people that value their time and value their agent's time, and they might be building smaller teams, but high quality teams, like small teams that make big impacts on their marketplaces, as opposed to the spray and pray methodology, which is what a lot of real estate focuses on. Part-time agents that do 1 or 2 deals a year, and they're part of your brokerage, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Please don't misunderstand me. Like, that's great. It's just, and you build huge businesses doing that, and you can build a successful career, working part-time and not focusing on one thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that that's not where I'm choosing to focus my particular time in terms of who I'm trying to appeal to. There's no profit in that for me, effectively. And so I'm not looking at it that way. But I just want to be clear that I have nothing against, performers that are not living, breathing, and eating real estate every single day of the week. If you're not doing those things, a lot of these less expensive tools are going to be great tools for you to look at. That you could probably afford them without breaking the bank. And certainly if you're not trying to be full-time in real estate, you definitely want to stay away from every single thing on my list that is more expensive, because I'd hate for a person making $30,000 a year to put $7, $8 grand or $9 grand even into a platform. At that point in your career, what you want to be doing is focused on either, like, you're going to go to Fiverr or other places like that, and you're going to find guys that you can hire for $50 who will run little Facebook campaigns for you, and hope and pray a little bit that you're going to get a good lead or 2 out of it and generate a few sales, where maybe you can build up your personal database over the span of many years so that you can successfully continue to work extremely part-time and have a reasonable career connected to it. So that's it. If you found anything valuable out of this video, please do me a favor. Thumbs up, hit the like button, and leave me a comment if you really feel inspired. Please look at these services. I have reviewed Real Geeks, Bold Leads, and Ylopo, and you can go and find those all on my website. And I've done deep dives into every single one of those platforms. All right, thanks.